Yo, yo, Tony D, back at it. I have a very special mega review. And the reason why it's special is because it's Halloween month. One of my favorite holidays, the whole month. Love all the horror shows that are on. I've always dug it. It's a great time. It's fun. And Hyde Street, I'm going to double down on my horror. Pretty dark to begin with, but man, I'm going all in. Issue 9. Jeff Johns doing the writing. Different artist, Francis Portela. And I must say, excellent job. Didn't lose any steps and it matches the tone. And we'll get into that. Ivan on the cover, beautiful covers. He captures, it's very elegant. Totally dig it. You know, if you're ever walking down the street and the hair stands up on the back of your neck and you just feel not right, you're probably on Hyde Street. Every city has one. So, Dr. Eugene Ego, the last issue, our little guy, Pranky, he had stolen Mr. X-Ray's a mask, like a werewolf mask. And unbeknownst to our little prankster, it stuck to his head. It turned him into a werewolf, but he can't get it off. So Mr. X-Ray takes him to this cat, Dr. Ego, and they're going to try to get it removed. So that's how we end up with his little origin story. And this was really profound right here. So we're going back in time, 1946. And you see Ego's, he's a little kid. They give you some background of his father. He was like a World War I surgeon, I believe it was, or World War II, but I think you get the drift. It's like horrible conditions to be a surgeon. And he does a lot of his work. So back in this time period, and I think this is true, where plastic surgery was really frowned upon. It was, so you had to do a lot of your stuff on the D-low, if you know what I mean. And so Ego is woken up at night and he goes to where his father had done some work. And it's very eerie here with the whole, just seeing the instruments and the claustrophobic closeness of the panels and just the finger right there. It is, Hyde Street is a horrific, it's the evolution of the character-driven anthology book. It really is like the next step, and they have nailed it. So, Ego, he's not afraid, but they mention that it's an awakening, and they get into that. Jeff Johns writing on this, it's fantastic, where it's not poetic, it's just the way that he describes it and frames it. It's perfect for a book of this nature. And here you got a nice full page of this patient that his father had been working on. And they kind of immediately have this verbal connection. And I'm saying verbal because Ego is really, I think he's really just shut off from the real world. You can kind of see it in the eyes. That's why I say the artist did a great job and kept the tone of what's being written. And she just wants someone to talk to. And she's talking about dreams keep waking her up. And her dreams are really not just her dreams at night, but also her dreams, of what she wants to be, how she wants her life to go. And this is like the answer to that. And it's so profound. Like, look at this close-up action here. And then you get blood seeping through, where it totally gave me a sense of horror. Like, literally, like, okay, this is not good. And she talks about being on a stage, bright lights, a new face, a new life. She even mentions it's like being born again. And I think I've never had plastic surgery, but I think people really think that. Like, I think that hits home for a lot of people that have procedures like this. And I'm not saying it's bad. Some people need to have it because of certain conditions, but she didn't. We're dealing with people that don't need to do this. So I think that's an important distinction to make. So he talks about his dream, and look how just emotionalist he is. And he's talking about her, like he dreamt about her, standing in front of a screen and men just whistling for her, ladies crying like she's a big star. And right here is where I knew who it was, where he's talking about how she married a man who read poetry, broke her heart, and he married a man who played baseball. Immediately, I knew who it was. And this is so, died in a building full of telephones, like, you know, a hotel. And this is so, it's such a prophecy is the word I'm looking for. It's like, he's telling her that she was asking what her name should be. And he was like, it was my mother's name. And this is where we see a lot of the trauma that shapes this character is he sees his mother, and just the hand right there, that detail right there, that's profound. And his mother's name was Marilyn. So there you have it. And at that point, this is where this character is defined. Yeah, nothing beautiful comes without a cost. Like there seems to always be a cost, and bam, you get what a shot right there. So this sets you up where it's kind of the ending wasn't great for her, but it seems like on the surface, she was transformed into a beautiful woman and had a lot of success, but we all know how it ended up. And it's just not as in your face as what we're fixing to see. So it's a good setup to where it gives you that feeling of, well, if you just make the right decisions afterwards, you'll be okay. But man, the price is paid. And then it's just at this moment, and I think it's a specific moment, like right here, I think right here really sets the tone for the rest of the issue. You know, it's the moment ego stops seeing patients as people. They're just canvases. And literally Hyde Street becomes his new gallery, and we'll get to that. But this was a very important part of this origin story. Great writing. Hats off to Jeff Johns. So we get to 1997, and I will give the artwork this. It is very cold, clinical, and emotionally precise. And we'll see more of that on display. So we get to like one of his patients, and this really frames the moral decay that this character goes through as he gets older. You know, it's really a haunting character study of ego. What you're really seeing here is a disgraced surgeon whose obsession from the trauma that he went through, where he's obsessed with perfection, and it just leads him down a path of just horrific consequences. So they do an excellent job. Even the hands like that if you're into body language, that's like like you think you're important. And he just tells this lady, like, she wants to get her smile fixed, and she's like, she has done so much work where the skin is just not up to it, and she needs another jaw. And this is where we see the moral decay. This is where it is, where he's going to a cemetery to get parts to do what he's got to do. And then you're introduced to this character where they just want, the liposuction. They just want the problem gone, and he goes for it. They even mentions like 44 visits and 200 pounds out. So you know what that does to your body. There's a lot of sagging, and it's like these two characters become important though, and they're just horrible people after their procedures. And they were horrible. Let's get this straight. They were horrible before they got the procedures. So they become his assistants in this Hyde Street hospital. And it's really, oh man, it's just, it talks about them, they weren't saved by being offered up to the scorekeeper, but, they're just damned forever. So even if your soul is not collected by the collector, like the scorekeeper, there's even more horrific fates, and they are in it. So they even go back to where he's talking to the scorekeeper, and they make an agreement in blood. It's written in blood, and he pretty much, he lays it out where it's almost like he believes he's in the real world. Like he wants his license back, charges dropped. And he even like looks at it like he's helping people. Like he's still like there's a twisted sense here where he still feels like he's helping people. So they come to an agreement, and he's a soul collector on Hyde Street. And you get this very relatable, and I say relatable because I could see this happening, man. I think I've even done this, like looking at little things, thinking I need to fix them. We really need to embrace things that are different about us. It's really this whole perfection seeking. It's like Hyde Street captures it like beautifully. There really is nothing good from it. And they even address people that have had horrific accidents. And it just says he worked pro bono on cases like that. They really don't get into what, if it's soul collection, I don't know. It's such an interesting situation. Like they really dig into the depths of your soul. Like you really, like for me personally, I started asking myself questions like, just not being happy with some physical things, and like there truly is a price to be paid. So here's Pranky. And so our guy, Mr. X-Ray, he can't look at himself without his glasses. So those glasses offer a certain type of protection from him seeing what he really is. And the doctor knows this. He has some real in-depth knowledge of Mr. X-Ray and his relationship with the glasses and with the situation Pranky's in. And the only way to get Pranky out of this situation is he has to see himself as a good person for that to let go. And that's like, is that even possible? So you're setting up for some interesting narration later down the road. So Johns is really using Ego's story to explore some themes, of beauty, imperfection, and moral ambiguity. He really casts a critical gaze on the obsession with appearance. Very well done. So another patient comes in, and he leaves them two in there to go work on this patient. And Mr. X-Ray is just like, hey, I need my glasses. And he tells him he knows how painful it is without them. And he mentions that he's losing sight of what makes him human. And he knows his secret. I think his secret is how he ended up on Hyde Street, man. Hit issue 1, and it straight up shows you. He knows so much. Like, he hits it right here where he tells him he's not the voice of reason on Hyde Street. That you're the biggest narcissist of all. Wow. And he knows it. The panel work is fantastic. I love it when they have the close-ups, especially framed like that. So this is the fortune teller. She has made some appearances, and she is a main antagonist of the side series Sisterhood, which I've been reading, and I recommend that too. Like they're nailing it on that one too. Did some micro review action on it with some other stuff. So she's saying a card came up, the Butcher of Hyde Street. And it's Pranky's card. So I'm not really sure where that fits in. And I'm not sure who this character is. But it doesn't matter. You're being introduced to more people. Like this series could go on for a long time, but for Halloween, you shall be disturbed. And they even give you a profile at the end of Dr. Ego. Totally cool. Get your alternate covers. Like, I can't find these anywhere. They're like the cereal. If you remember Count Chocula, Boo Berry, that's what it's based off of. But I'm totally going to get these covers. It'd be really cool. And they always have this stuff in the back. It's really cool too. And it's all related to what you see in the book. So a really good intro to our guy, Ego. It's disturbing. You're exploring the roots of vanity, trauma, and ethical collapse, like all right there. You know, being drawn to horror, you know, that cuts deeper than the jump scares. That's what this is all about. So to close it out, you know, Ego's descent into unethical practice is gradual but inevitable. He begins fixing patients with grotesque procedures, you know, eventually signing the blood contract with the scorekeeper. And John's use of Eagle's story, just to explore those themes we mentioned of beauty, imperfection, moral ambiguity, it's done very hauntingly well. It's cold, clinical, and emotionally precise. But remember, there's a Hyde Street in every town. Get it?